For the last 4 to 5 years, if you purchased Urban One in January or February of the same year and sold right before Juneteenth, you would have seen at least a 50% gain on your investment. And I'm talking about, again, the last 4 to 5 years. And now in 2023, that gain is going to be even larger. Here's why. So if you've been watching my channel for the last couple of years, you know that on an annual basis, I do at least 2, 3, maybe even 4 videos on Urban One stock. I'm talking about UONE and UONEK stock. I profile the business. I talk about how well they're doing, how much cash they have. I give a basic breakdown of the company. And I usually do this because I see an opportunity for people to make short-term gains. And I do see a long-term investment possibility here, but short-term, it seems to be a no-brainer. It's something that makes people money every single year. The reason being is because Urban One's just good at what they do. They're a company that's in the black in terms of making net profits every year. That wasn't the case every single year, but over the last 2 years, they've been in the black. They're a company that's making big investments. They're expanding beyond just radio and broadcasting. They're in television. They're in gaming. They have a lot going on. But this year in particular, 2023, investing in Urban One stock at the right time is going to be set to pay off really well this Juneteenth, or maybe even going into November. The reason being is because a lot of new developments have come about. Number one, Urban One, they had an interest. If you haven't watched my previous videos, you would know this, but they had an interest in MGM casinos, particularly dealing with the MGM casino right outside of DC in Southern Maryland. They've had their interest and they're selling it. Okay, they're selling their interest in the company. And in selling that interest back to the company, they're going to gain $145.5 million on an original $40 million investment. Again, Alfred Liggins made a $40 million investment in December of 2016. And now when we're talking about early first quarter 2023 going into second quarter, you're talking about cashing out for $145.5 million, meaning that they are going to become even more liquid than before. Now, why do you, as a company, when you already have, let's say, over $100 million in cash liquid, sell your interest in a casino, a competing casino, for $145 million? Why do you need so much liquid cash? Well, if we've been paying attention to Urban One over the last several years, then you're aware that they have interest in opening up a casino in Virginia, in Richmond, Virginia. Over the last couple of years, they had a vote. It failed barely. Okay, it's something that they felt like it should not have failed. There was a lot of misinformation going on, a campaign against the casino and who it would help. But ultimately, this is now coming up for a revote, more than likely this November. In the last few years, they've had a little bit of resistance when it comes to doing the vote again, because the first one failed, and then other towns like Petersburg wanted the opportunity to get their own chance of getting a casino before Richmond could do it again. But it turns out that because the Virginia State Senate Finance and Appropriation Committee decided that Urban One could move forward and Richmond could move forward in terms of putting it back on the ballot, the Petersburg initiative would not slow that down. That means that the vote can happen in November for a second time. And unlike the first time, okay, the first time you couldn't say beforehand that if this vote fails to pass, it's because of racism. It's because of a clear divide amongst races. Now you can, because the stats show based on the first vote, that's exactly what happened. The casino is set to be built in proximity to a majority black community who would mostly benefit from that casino being built. And by the way, it's just not a casino, it's a resort. It's a hotel, so it's not just something where you can gamble. It's a place where entertainment can be. It's a place that's going to be built on hundreds of acres of land. Green space will be developed, outdoor space for venues, indoor space for venues, restaurants. A lot of black-owned businesses and a lot of local businesses would benefit from this because they're going to be prioritized in terms of filling those spaces. But nevertheless, it was voted down. It wasn't voted down by the communities closest to where the casino would be built. It was voted down by those in the suburbs. And usually that was a division based on race. Now, beforehand, you could not say that this vote wasn't going to work because of racial lines. But now the numbers show that's exactly what happened. So in this second campaign, that could be called out. It can literally say, look, let's not not give a benefit to the people closest to the casino, this benefit, just because of racial lines. The sell is totally different now. The pitch is totally different. And I hate to say it, but there's a guilt factor into it, which will be used and utilized. There's going to be your big talkers, Crump, other people when it comes to discrimination, when it comes to racism on an institutional level, that will speak on this matter this time that didn't speak on it previously, because the numbers show that this was a racial thing. So what I expect to see is that casino is going to get and approve a yes vote this time around. And the lead up to that will be 10, 20, 30 times the profits of what we've seen in the previous years, not just for the Juneteenth run up, but also just before the actual vote. So this year, look, I've given out advice when it comes to Urban One UONE stock. I've given out advice for UONEK year after year. And every time people have won. Some people win on a small scale, some people win on a large scale. When I'm saying this year, it's a no-brainer. You have too many things going in their favor. You have a company in the black making profits, a company that's making money not just through radio, but through all forms of media on television. They've just started their own, I believe, podcast kind of like service where they offer several podcasts from their morning shows to other talents, introducing people to podcasts. They are adapting to the times and not just depending on money from traditional radio. Them getting in gaming, it shows what they did with the MGM investment. I mean, they invested $40 million and got 145.5 out within 6 years. Great investment. They've shown that they have the experience, they have the knowledge when it comes to hotels, gaming, when it comes to entertainment, to infiltrate that business model and make money. They know who to partner with. And all of this is positive news. So right now it's quiet. People aren't talking about Urban One. If you wait until June to start purchasing Urban One stock, you're going to see less gains because obviously the price will go up. That's just my opinion. Again, as a disclosure, I always say this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy anything. I'm just pointing to history and facts. And the history says over the last 4 years, if you buy Urban One stock around December or January or February and sell right before June, you make a profit. This year, things are in line to make sure that those profits may be higher than they've been over the last 2 or so years. So we'll see what's going to happen, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you've listened to the advice before and made a purchase of Urban One stock, let me know. If you don't like Urban One, let me know why. Let me know what's going on. But I am interested to hear from you guys to let me know if you're going to sit this one out, if you're going to sit out the Urban One Juneteenth run this year, or are you going to participate? Me, I'll participate just because it makes too much sense for me. But what are you guys going to do? Make sure you subscribe, like the channel. I want to continue the conversation. Share it. Let's see what people say. And don't forget, again, subscribe to the channel. Show your support. Hey, I've been calling it right for the last couple years, so subscribing to the channel might not be a bad idea. Talk to you soon.